Hey everyone, so I'm making this video as kind of a public service because I've seen a lot of people mess up their ears by stretching inappropriately and not listening to their body, and it's led to a lot of pain, a lot of scarring. I thought that I would make this video about safe, correct stretching methods and how to keep your ears healthy. So the first time that I stretched my ears, I completely didn't follow the directions. I didn't go on BME Zine and look at the expert tips or anything. I just listened to what my friends told me, and that really caused me a lot of pain, and I actually did get a blowout. So I guess I should explain what a blowout is. It's when the tube of flesh in your ear actually comes out the back, and it can become permanent if you don't immediately take out your jewelry and massage it and help it reabsorb. So thankfully I did that, so I don't have any kind of deformities, but if you just let the blowout kind of become part of your body, it will require surgical intervention. I don't know if you guys heard that bird. But and then there's also cat butt, which is really gross. It's basically where your earlobe looks like the butthole of a cat, so it's kind of gross. And it gets all puckery and bumpy and gross. So that's more just unsightly, but it's a result of scar tissue, which can actually keep your ears from shrinking back down. If you go up to somewhere around a 2 gauge, you can still reverse it. If you go larger than that, you're probably going to need surgery if you want to it to reabsorb. But yeah, scar tissue is going to prevent that from happening no matter what size you go to, because it basically it's much more rigid. It's completely different than normal tissue. That bird is driving me nuts. But yeah, so it's also going to prevent you from stretching up to the size that you want to achieve. So that's another problem. And so basically what you want to do to start stretching is start with pierced ears. And if you're, a girl like me and you started out with pierced ears, then and your ears are stable, there's no discharge, redness, pain, anything like that, then you're basically good to go to start stretching. So what you want to do is you want to take a gauge card like this. They're available for free from a lot of companies online when you order body jewelry. And gauge cards are really useful also because, if you've got a big pot of body jewelry in your jewelry box and you want to find a certain gauge, but you don't remember what things are, if you're not organized, you just hold it up to this and it'll tell you. So these are super useful. It also has a tiny ruler on the other side and some other things, some conversions to millimeters from inches and things like that. So it's super useful to have. I keep at least 2 in my jewelry box in case I lose one, so they're really helpful. For this is you want to take your gauge card, and see it has all those little black bars. So what you want to do is you want to take your jewelry, and I'm using this little stud right here, and you want to hold your jewelry up to the gauge card and just see which line it fits into. And this one seems to be fitting into the 20 gauge. So then what you want to do from there is purchase a taper, which is this neato cool little cone-shaped guy. And it's skinny on one end and the size that you want to achieve on the other end. And this one's obviously ginormous and not at all the size that you would start with, but I thought that it would be good to demonstrate the anatomy of a taper because it's nice and big. So what you want to do is you want to purchase a taper that is a size larger than the hole that you're starting with. So if you're starting with a 20, then you want to purchase an 18 gauge taper. If you started out with an 18 gauge, you want to buy a 16 gauge, and so on. Gauges go up by even numbers, and the difference in size between gauges is not consistent. It doesn't go up by, X number of millimeters each time. It's actually a non-linear equation that they use to determine the next size up. So the difference between each size is going to be larger than it was between the last 2 sizes. But anyway, so you want to purchase a taper and a set of plugs in the next size from what you found. So, and my favorite thing to buy is actually Body Art Forms makes a really inexpensive $7 stretching kit. It's 100% steel, and it comes with 1 taper and 2 plugs, and it comes in a bunch of sizes. It starts pretty low and it goes up to, I think, 0. So, so you want to buy the next size up, and so you have your taper and you have your single flare plugs, and then it's going to come with O-rings. This is a massive O-ring, but it's going to come with smaller ones. This one's just easier to show you because it's nice and big, just like the taper. And next thing you want to do is find a nice lubricant. Most experts will tell you that it's best to use natural oils. And I personally use a tea tree oil, vitamin E oil, sweet almond oil medley that comes in a solid. So it's really convenient. It comes in a little jar, and I keep it in my purse. You might have seen it in my What's in My Purse video. But yeah, I really swear by that stuff. There's also stuff you can buy from tattoo and piercing supply websites. I think there's one called Holy Butter. You can also buy emu oil, which is made of emu fat. Olive oil is good, so if you're on a budget and you just want to go to the grocery store and buy a big old jug of olive oil, that's good too. It's very healthy for your skin. Vitamin E oil, of course. You could even use the stuff that comes out of those little capsules that you get at the health food store if you can't find it in a bottle. Basically a natural oil. And you definitely want to stretch with metal because the oil will break down some of the plastics because they are petroleum products. You take out whatever you were wearing before, your little Claire's earring, and you massage the oil into your earlobe, and you cover the taper in the same oil. Then you insert the small end, this little tiny end right here, into your ear, and you just scoot it along, and it shouldn't be painful at all. If it's painful, you stop, you put in your old jewelry, and you let your ears rest for at least 2 weeks, because what that means is that you're actually tearing your ear as opposed to just stretching it. Then what you want to do is you want to follow the taper with your plug like this. So here's your plug, here's your taper, and you want to follow it in and just insert it into your ear. Then you want to put your O-rings on each end. Put your little O-ring on like that. Put it on the other side. So you have an O-ring on the front of your ear and on the back of your ear. And then you want to let your ear rest for 48 hours. Don't play with it, don't touch it, try not to sleep on it, all that stuff. And just leave it alone. Even if you stretched and it didn't hurt, it might be a little tender, it might be not quite used to being bigger size yet, so just leave it alone to be safe. Then after that, what you want to do is every night or every morning, whatever works for you, take your jewelry out, wash the jewelry, because it's gonna develop a smell otherwise. It's gonna be like your skin cells and your body oil, just like the natural oils that your body produces on that jewelry, and it's going to develop kind of a cheesy, gross smell. So, not to mention that it's going to get in the way of healing and stuff. So, yeah, wash off your jewelry, and then oil your ears and your jewelry again, pop your jewelry in, go to bed, or go about your day. And then what you want to do is repeat that for at least a month. You need to wait at least 4 to 8 weeks before you stretch again. Anyone that tells you 2 weeks probably experienced pain with stretching, and you really don't want to do that because that means tearing, not stretching. And don't just go by numbers, listen to your body. So if it hurts, even after 8 weeks, you may just need more time. And after a certain amount of time, like after 2 weeks of having my ear the same, like in one size, sometimes I like to change the jewelry to something in the same gauge, but just something like dangly, like I'm using a circular barbell right now. You could also get a crescent, although I wouldn't recommend this acrylic one because you want to wear metal. You can do a spiral. This is a little steel, black coated steel spiral, or you can do a captive bead ring. You don't want to mess around with double flares at this point. This is a double flare because your ear's not going to be ready to stretch to accommodate the flare to pop it in. So yeah, but make sure that before you change sizes, it's been at least 4 to 8 weeks. But listen to your body. Don't just go by numbers. And those are all the tips I have to help you guys avoid cat butt, scar tissue, and blowouts. And happy stretching. Bye.